Good morning. We are continuing the National Vector-Borne Disease Control Program. We have discussed about the problems in rural areas, and now we'll go towards the urban and also some ecotypes and paradigms. Usually, the malaria is a heterogeneous, especially in the case of transmission and its characteristics within the states and between the states. A few forest tribal states and areas for malaria burden. So mostly malaria burden is in the forest tribal states. And also vector control measures, VCM, and vector control interventions, especially in the villages of API and annual parasite incidence, maybe 5 or more than 5, or other high risk areas. So these are the important points in the case of ecotypes, ecology. In the case of the problems, what are the problems we are facing, especially with the malaria in these regions? High degree of morbidity and also poverty, inadequate clothing, outdoor sleeping habits, forest-based economy, presence of efficient vectors. Efficient vectors means these transmit the parasites very effectively, like falciparum, Plasmodium falciparum, and which is also resistant to triple insecticides, usually DDT, abate, and malathion, and breeding sites. And breeding sites also very peculiar. And coming to this, tribal specific strategy. So it may be a short question also sometimes, because tribal areas now a lot of value, a lot of importance because of the source and also transmission and also resistance. And the Tribal Malaria Action Plan, category 2 and 3, that means more than 1 and more than 2 API are to be covered initially. So category 2 and category 3 to be covered initially. Then available resources to high endemic areas. Afterwards, you can go to the high endemic zones. And what are the key interventions? There are a lot of key interventions of that. One is mobile-based surveillance, and another is provision of hamlet instead of village. Hamlet is a group of people in different communities, but all the communities together called as village. So Anganwadi worker, faith healers, local health and medical college providers, municipal corporation also, and other like Panchayat Raj institutes, and also revenue, village, municipal, and other categories also. They will help in diagnose and also in treatment of malaria cases after training. Then mobile health services are there. So mobile health services, they will touring to the remote areas to get the diagnosis of the case or treatment, appropriate treatment. NGOs strengthening, and also PHC with quality medical services and diagnosis and treatment facilities, DNT. Species-specific radical treatment for positive cases. So it should be species-specific, like Vivax and falciparum, one treatment, and Ovel and Vivax, another treatment, and some resistant, drug resistance of falciparum, multi-drug resistance, some other treatment should be there. So what do you mean by radical treatment? Radical treatment is to complete eradication of the malaria parasite. Now, key interventions, elimination at national and sub-national level. Identify serious cases and early referral to specialized health facility, free transport services, and follow up epidemiological tracking of all positive cases, mass screening of migrants. So screening of migrants also very important, en masse, and also tracking of all positive cases. And IVM, that is the vector management, integrated vector management, to appropriate vector control prioritization of villages as per risk, to use IRS, that is indoor residual spray, LLN, long lasting nets, that is the impregnated nets with the insecticides, or treatment of community-owned ITN bed nets. That is also insecticidal treated nets, ITN. Bed net social marketing. So social marketing is the people will go and they will choose whatever they want. That is the social marketing. That is the major environmental engineering. That is the usually through the village health and nutrition committee will be there. And also MNREGA is also Employment Guarantee Act also there, and cleaning and desilting of discharge and supply chain management and training of the people, and also case management and by IEC, BCC, IEC's Information Education and Communication, and BCC is called Behavioral Change Communication by appropriate tools and by procedures and practices. Now, BCC and anti-malaria campaign is there. Usually this campaign on malaria in the June of every year prior to onset of monsoon and transmission season to increase awareness and also community participation through mass media campaign. And also intersectoral collaboration, interpersonal communication. So it is a systematic process. Malaria campaign is a systematic, anti-malaria campaign is a systematic process that motivates individuals, families, communities to change their inappropriate, unhealthy behavior or to continue healthy behavior for malaria prevention and treatment under NVBDCP, that is the National Vector-Borne Disease Control Program. And behavioral change communication is directed at early recognition of signs and symptoms, early treatment seeking from provider, adherence to treatment regimes, protect children and women, and use of ITNs and LLNs, acceptance of indoor residual spray, IRS. Then coming to the malaria control public health program. There are a lot of other public health programs are associated with malaria control, like IDSP, that is the Integrated Disease Surveillance Program, and also vector-borne diseases, RCH, that is reproductive child health. These are three are very well connected to the malaria control by helping. In the case of IDSP, weekly free alerts, early warning signals regarding outbreaks, they will communicate to the people. That is the function, and also assistance to malaria control. Then VBD, vector-borne diseases. Other than malaria, dengue, and filaria, Kala-Azar, and also Japanese encephalitis, and so on and so forth. There are total 6 vector-borne disease control programs. And some states like Jharkhand, it has malaria and Kala-Azar areas. Like Odisha, it has malaria and filaria is also there. So they will concentrate on these areas of the malaria or Kala-Azar or filaria. Reproductive and child health. In what way this will help? Reproductive and child health antenatal care services will be there. They will distribute the long-lasting impregnated nets, and they will distribute to the pregnant women. And also other like JSY, Janani Suraksha Yojana, distribute bed nets. That is the bed nets of the insecticidal bed nets, changes in malaria case management. IMNCI, integrated management of neonatal and childhood illnesses, and also changes in malaria case management through this IMNCI. Coming to the major externally supported projects. What do you mean by externally supported projects? Like there are 2, both are internationally organized. One is IMCP2, another is World Bank supported on malaria control. These 2 help the program externally so that it will extend help in the form of kits and also drugs and also training and other materials. So coming to the Global Fund Round 9 in NIFA, you know NIFA, Northeastern Frontier Agencies, states are there. So in those state districts, NIFA districts, they will cover like 46 million people were covered in 86 districts with early diagnosis and complete prompt treatment. That's very important because its completeness is also important. Appropriateness is also very important. And the two early diagnosis. If it is delayed, maybe complications, maybe mortality afterwards. So this is, and also along with the targeted vector control, like ITNs, LLNs. You know ITNs, integrated, treated, insecticidal treated bed nets. And LLN are long lasting impregnated nets. So both are very important. Then coming to the additional support. So what is the additional support through this IMCP, that is the Intensified Malaria Control Project? One is human resource, another is capacity building measures, another is planning administration. These three are very important. Coming to the human resource, consultants are there, and also monitoring units are there in the state and also districts. And for the lab technician and also technical support at the level of the sub-district level, because they should be trained very well in the sub-district level. Coming to the capacity building measures for medical officer and also other higher officials also. And also commodities. What are the commodities? Just now we discussed about the ITNs, LLNS, and also RDT, rapid diagnostic test kits, and the drugs like ACT, artemisinin combination therapies, injections are there, and artemether for severe malaria. So these are very important because very costly and also very rare commodity. Then how nicely we will plan, how nicely we administer all these programs and methods and procedures. That's also very important, like surveillance or survey, monitoring, evaluation, operational research, on entomological research for the malaria program. Coming to the second organization is World Bank supported on malaria control. That especially Kala-Azar elimination also, it is linked with this other than malaria. So it is looking after two control projects. One is malaria, another is Kala-Azar. Malaria control, Kala-Azar elimination by 2009 year. Coming to the IVM, that is the integrated vector management. What do you mean by integrated vector management? So vector can be managed differently. One is measures to control adult mosquitoes, that is the spraying, IRS it is called as, because not outdoor, it is indoor. Indoor residual spray. Primary method of vector control in rural setting by National Malaria Control Program. So IRS is very important in rural setting to control the adult mosquitoes. Coming to the anti-larval measures, especially in urban areas. How you control? One is chemical, biological, environmental. And personal protection. Coming to the personal protection, you can use repellents and also use of bed nets, including insecticidal treated nets for full population coverage. So in these three ways, and the third one is village level. So village is the unit of intervention. So for all these programs, IRS and also anti-larval measures and also personal protection, village is taken as a unit of intervention and also sub-center. Areas as high risk areas by IRS, ITN more than 80%. So 80% coverage must be there with indoor residual spray and also insecticidal treated nets, ITN. So it should be more than 80%. Then only it will be workable. Integrated vector management. Coming to the urban malaria scheme strategies. Already we have discussed about the rural and also in integrated vector management. Now urban area. So some history is there. Health Survey and Development Countries by Government of India. They launched the NMCP, later on NMEP 1958. All roof structures in the rural areas received insecticidal coverage under the attack phase, except those in urban areas. Why? Because it's very large area, especially if it is more than 40,000 houses, it is not taken up. Only in the rural areas. This roof structure with insecticidal coverage. Coming to the houses in the peripheral belt, to depth of 1 mile, from 0.5 to 1 mile in the rural areas. That up to that depth of area, the and insecticidal coverage will be taken. Coming to the rest of the areas, anti-larval measures from local bodies. So, insecticidal coverage, anti-larval measures. And insecticidal coverage up to 1 mile, and rest of the areas by anti-larval measures. Insecticidal, you know very much. Anti-larval measures means like gamblersia fish and also other things. Whereas insecticidal, pyrethrum, pyrethroid, and also malathion like that. Coming to the incidence of malaria after 1963. There are, of course, different species are there, like Anopheles stephensis, Anopheles nymphensis. These breeding places are mostly in the wells, cisterns, low-lying areas, wet cultivations within the urban limits. So these are very important. And also, they started breeding in drains also, pools also. And especially from urban to rural, for fresh phosphorus transmission will be there. So not from rural to urban, from urban to rural. Then there is a modified plan of action operation is there. That is called as MPO. Through this MPO, drugs are easily available from 1977 for both urban and rural areas. And also anti-larval, anti-parasitic measures, especially in urban areas. Well. అది సడన్ గా పోయిందండి. So there is a small break there. Sorry. Now, MP we already discussed about it. Modified plan of operation. It is workable both in urban and rural areas. And malaria control in urban is complementary to NMEP in rural areas. So malaria control in urban is complementary. So unless there is control in urban, NMEP eradication cannot be done in rural. What are the goals of urban malaria scheme? Main aim is to reduce the disease to a tolerable level in which the human population can be protected from malaria transmission, whatever the resources are available. So to reduce the disease to a tolerable level, that is the main aim. What are the objectives? To control malaria by reducing the vector population. So not only to reduce the disease, but also control the vector population in urban areas, and also to reduce the morbidity and mortality through EDPT, that is the early diagnosis and prompt treatment. So what are the norms? The towns should have minimum population of 50,000 for urban malaria scheme. The API, annual parasite incidence, should have more than 2 or above 2. The civic bylaws by towns implemented to prevent and eliminate domestic and peri-domestic breeding places. Domestic is inside, peri-domestic and surrounding the house. So strategy, what is the strategy for urban malaria scheme? Early case detection and prompt treatment to patients through passive surveillance institutions like hospitals and others. And also recurrent anti-larval measures through conventional larvicides. So passive surveillance and larvicidal. Then major engineering measures like source reduction. Wherever the source is there, you reduce the source. Then channelization and deseeding. Source is usually the wet water logged areas. So reduce them, fill them. Biological control through larvivorous fish at appropriate breeding sites. You know, one Gandosia fish is there, it eats the larva of the mosquito. IEC strategy for community awareness and their involvement. Information, education, communication for awareness of the people. Coming to the epidemiological situation, urban malaria case report is 7.8% now. Especially in India, Visakhapatnam is the second largest city reporting the cases. Anopheles stephensi, domestic water breeder, an important vector of urban malaria. So, urban malaria is the domestic water breeder and also overhead storage tanks. So, these are very, very important too. Then Aedes aegypti. This is also domestic habitat species, but mostly outdated and unused tiles, old tiles and drums. These are the main sources for the Aedes aegypti mosquito. And Culex quincke fasciatus is a pest mosquito, breeds in salage lakes and also septic tanks. So this is Culex quincke fasciatus in the septic tanks and also salage lakes. This is the breeding place. Coming to the urban malaria scheme, the procedures like source reduction, chemical control, biological control, aerosol spray spray, anti-parasitic measures, organizational setup is there. Source reduction, environmental methods, breeding control by filling ditches or any gaps in the areas, pits, low-lying areas, streamlining, channelizing, desilting, deweeding, trimming of drains, water disposal, sanitation, empty water container once in a week. So weekly once, these environmental methods should be taken up. Coming to the chemical control, recurrent anti-larval measures. Recurrent anti-larval measures with larvicides to control the vector mosquitoes are recommended, like temifas, fenthion. So these are the larvicides. With this temifas and fenthion, they will kill the larva. Biological agents, especially larvivorous fish and larvicides. Of course, larvicides they will kill, whereas larvivorous fish, they will eat the larvae. Aerosol sprays, pyrethrum extract 2% in, especially this pyrethrum spray should be around a positive case, 50 houses they will be sprayed. So one positive case area, 50 houses will be taken up and to kill the infective mosquitoes. That's very important. Kill the infective mosquitoes, 50 houses will be taken up around the positive case of malaria. Antiparasitic measures are passive agencies, hospitals, dispensaries, to reduce the reservoir of infection by early case detection and prompt treatment. So what is the organization? In the towns, state, central, in the central director, in the state additional director, and in the town biologist is in charge. Whereas the state additional director, malaria and filaria, or deputy director in charge and supervise technical and administrative guidelines. Central director, NABDCP, monitors UMS and supplies approved items and technical guidance. So this is the setup, town, state, central. And what is the meaning of surveillance? Maintenance of ongoing watch, vigil, or the status of disease. Disease, malaria in a group of community. This is the malaria surveillance. What is the purpose of the malaria surveillance? To detect changes in trends of distribution in malaria and others, to initiate or control measures, monitors the incidence of malaria and geographic distribution. This is the purpose. What is the aim? To adopt, control interventions in high transmission areas and assessing their impact and role in the early detection of outbreaks. So this is the aim. So countries of malaria surveillance, what is confirmation of the presumptive diagnosis? What is the presumptive diagnosis? Presumptive diagnosis presumed by the signs and symptoms. Then you diagnose the malaria. So the treatment is usually schizonticidal drugs, chloroquine. And for Plasmodium vivax and Ovel, chloroquine 25 mg per kg for 36 to 48 hours. This is the presumptive treatment. Presumptive diagnosis, presumptive treatment. Funding out the source of infection. So the source of infection fund should be there because it needs some engineering methods, environmental engineering methods. Identification of all cases, susceptible contacts, and at-risk people. You identify all cases at susceptibles who are at risk to prevent further spread of the disease. Then ACD is the case detection, active case detection, usually in the rural areas, whereas PCD usually in the urban and also PHCs with fever cases. Because with fever, the cases will be coming to the peripheral health institutions and also health visitors, ASAs at sub-centers and also CHCs and other tertiary and patients visit to treatment. So usually ACD at rural, PCD at the institutions. ASHAs and others provide diagnostic services by rapid diagnostic kits. They will be trained in that at PHC by examination of blood smear or blood slide examination. In villages to ASHAs and others, then multi-purpose workers. But in the villages, no ASHAs, only other multi-purpose workers will be there to carry out the active case detection and case management. Then ABR, this is the annual blood examination rate is very important. It should be minimum of 10%. The surveillance rate of data of NVBDCP reflects malaria trends. So suppose if it is ABR is more than 10%, then it will reflect the malaria trends. ABR is low in a few states, while most of the high endemic areas it is much above 10%. So if it is low, in a few states that means that it is less. Then diagnosis by microscopy, especially negative, slide negative and slide positive. By microscopy, you have to examine and you have to confirm whether it is negative or positive. Large number of blood smears examined daily. Then 100 million cases, that is blood smears collected from fever cases in India annually from 1.5 billion cases are detected. So out of 100 million cases or blood smears, only 1.5 million cases are detected. Case management, new rules, and also quality care for patients. It is beneficial to the fever cases by implementation of RDT, this is the rapid diagnostic test in 2003. In 2012, bivalent RDT has come. What do you mean by bivalent? So it can detect both Plasmodium vivax and also Plasmodium falciparum. And treat, if it is falciparum, you have to treat artemisinin combination therapy with sulfadoxine pyrimethamine. But you should be very careful, especially if the Plasmodium falciparum is multi-drug resistance. So you have to go accordingly. Also by improvement of service delivery. RDT kits distributed to CHU, community health volunteers, and also link volunteers. 10% of population to be screened. So this is a must. Then NMC's strategy to give treatment to all detected cases of malaria with chloroquine. So this is the National Malaria Control Strategy. So whatever the detected cases, you give the chloroquine or sulfadoxine pyrimethamine, SP. But there are certain drugs, especially for the Plasmodium falciparum MDR strains, that is very dangerous. We should give artesunate sulfadoxine chemo combination therapy with other drugs. Then ACD, that is active case detection followed by appropriate treatment. Fortnightly domiciliary visits also may be there for the ACD. FDV means fortnightly domiciliary visits. Then ACD FDV. ACD means active case detection, FDV is fortnightly domiciliary visit. It can avoid secondary cases. That is the advantage. Fortnightly domiciliary visit is it will avoid secondary cases in the community where malaria transmission is seasonal. There is another aspect is the incubational interval, II. This incubational interval for Plasmodium vivax is 22 days, whereas for Plasmodium falciparum it is 35 days. And the surveillance cycle of less than one incubation interval will catch most of the secondary cases before the commencement of the next cycle. That is the advantage. You can catch the cases, you can treat it accordingly. Components of activities under ACF, active case finding during FDV, fever case in between the visits of multi-purpose worker MPW, collection of blood smear from the cases, administration of appropriate anti-malarial drugs. So fever cases, blood smears, then anti-malarial drugs should be prescribed. Passive case detection, all dispensaries in PCD are there. Fever cases screened for malaria and given presumptive treatment. Already we have discussed as per the presumptive diagnosis. That means as per the signs and symptoms and clinical examination, you can prescribe presumptive treatment. But in private clinics also as PCD centers. Rapid fever survey. During outbreaks, fever cases, household visits, and also blood smear also can be taken. Mass survey, alternatively all cases with or without fever, mass survey can be taken up. Parameters of malaria surveillance. What are the parameters? Continuous scrutiny. What is surveillance meaning? Continuous scrutiny of all aspects of occurrence and spread of a disease that are pertinent to effective control. All aspects of occurrence and spread of the disease are pertinent to effective control. So one is systemic collection, evaluation of field investigation. The parameters used are API, annual parasite incidence, ABR, annual blood examination rate, AFI, annual falciparum incidence, SPR, slide positivity rate, and slide falciparum rate, SFR. So these are some of the things you will learn in the practicals. Sentinel surveillance, SS centers. So sentinel surveillance are established in high endemic districts by selecting in each district depending on its size. On its size, it can be 1 to 3 sentinel sites. Small is 1, maybe bigger one is 3 sites. In large hospitals for recording of outpatient and inpatient cases of malaria and malaria-related deaths. So, all severe malaria cases will be reported separately and also deaths recorded separately. Cases and deaths separate. Malaria elimination in India will be carried out in phased manner because the various states, union territories have different levels of burden. One is less than 1, another is more than 5. In that way, it is spread out. So that's why it takes a phasing program. Some low burden states maintain elimination right now. The high burden states will need to reduce the malaria burden before elimination. So initially, burden should be reduced for high burden states, low burden elimination right now. Whereas in some states, our union territories are categorized as per the API as primary criteria. So primary criteria for the categorization is API. Secondary criteria by ABR and SPR. And not only ABR, MBR also there. There is monthly blood examination rate, annual blood examination rate. MBR is 0.8% non-transmission during non-transmission. During transmission season, MBR is 1.2 to 1.8. Annual, of course, there is a mathematical formula is there. Denominator is common for entire population by FDV. Fortnightly domiciliary visit, number of blood space examined during the year, maybe ABR or monthly or so, multiplied by 1000. So cases multiplied by 1000 population covered under the surveillance unit. That will give you the figure. All persons having fever during malaria transmission month are included in the total blood slice examined during the year. Coming to the malaria, suspect epidemic and some antimalarial drugs. If SPR is more than 2.5 times of the standardized observed in preceding 3 years or preceding 3 months of the same year, so it should be more than 2.5 times, 3 years before or 3 years precedence. Then antimalarial drugs like ACT-AL. ACT-AL is artemisinin-based combination therapy, artemether, lumefantrine. ACT-SP is artesunate plus sulfadoxine, pyrimethamine, CQ chloroquine, PQ primequine, and other drugs are also there. Predvanil and other drugs. You will learn in the internal medicine about those things. And a nutshell of these things, how you treat the Vivax and mixed infections, blood smear by blood smear microscope exam. Results will be available within 24 hours. Suppose if it is positive for Plasmodium vivax, treat with chloroquine 3 days and primequine 0.25 mg per kg for 14 days. So 3 days 25 mg for over a period of 36 to 48 hours. You can give chloroquine. Whereas primequine 0.25 mg per kg for 14 days. Then positive for Plasmodium falciparum. Treatment is SPACT. SP means sulfadoxine, pyrimethamine, artemisinin combination therapy for 3 days. Plus PQ. That is the primequine, 0.25 mg single dose on second day. So 3 days and single day for PF, whereas Vivax, CQ 1 day and also PQ for 14 days. Positive for mixed infections, that is sulfadoxine, pyrimethamine plus artemisinin or artemether or artesunate combination therapy for 3 days and primequine 0.25 mg for 14 days. So here SPACT is 14 days for mixed infection, whereas PQ is only 1 day. SPACT 3 days and PQ for 14 days for mixed. Negative, no anti-malarial drugs AMD and treat as per the clinical condition. And CQ, that is the chloroquine for RBC stage, that is the erythrocyte stage of parasite. It is for the radical cure of Plasmodium vivax and Plasmodium ovale. PV, Plasmodium vivax treatment is QS plus doxy. That is the atovaquone and also pregranil and Malarone. In the form of Malarone tablet, it is available. Artemether, lumefantrine or mefloquine. So these are some of the drugs used. Complete elimination of malaria parasite from the body, specifically to eliminate dormant liver stage parasites. So liver stage, you know, hypnozoites will be there. If you remove that, then complete elimination of malaria parasite will occur. So especially it is in the Vivax and ovale. That's why it will be hidden. It will be, relapses will be there in the Vivax and ovale. Treatment with ACT, that is the artemether plus lumefantrine combination therapy, and also artesunate or amodiaquine. Severe malaria, infusion of quinine. So radical treatment, already we discussed. Now severe malaria, infusion of quinine or quinidine, IM injection, loading dose 20 mg per kg. Other aspects of NVDC, cross-checking, computerized and also intersectoral coverage, behavior change communication, capacity building, operation research, all other things are there. Objectives and other things we have already discussed. And and also let us go towards the some of the districts unit of the planning and implementation as per the criteria, 0 deaths, and API with API more than 0 to 1. And second category is API 1 to more than 2. Third category API 1 to less than 2. Fourth category is API 2 to more than or less than 5. Fifth category is the API more than or equal to 5. So these are the 5 criteria for the districts and along with the population. And strategies, surveillance, and parameters of malaria surveillance, sentinel surveillance. All we have just discussed. Now, let us go towards the other national vector-borne disease control programs like elephantiasis, lymphatic elephantiasis or filariasis, ELF. The elimination, Kala-Azar control program is also elimination. Now, Japanese encephalitis prevention and control, dengue fever and dengue hemorrhagic fever, chikungunya fever. So these are the other types of vector-borne diseases from their control programs. Coming to the elimination of the lymphatic filariasis, ELF, 630 millions are exposed in India at risk of disease. Endemic districts are 256. There is 16 states and 5 union territories. NFCP, National Filaria Control Program in 1955 was established. And also operational component merged with urban malaria scheme. It is the NFCP merged with urban malaria scheme. So filaria scheme plus malaria. National Institute of Communicable Diseases, NICD. Actually, it is responsible for the research and training for the elimination of lymphatic filariasis, NICD. Coming to the RFTRC, Regional Filaria Training and Research Center. These are established in Calcutta, Rajahmundry, and also Varanasi. Then state level 12 headquarters are there, bureaus. These are called as bureaus. As per NHB, National Health Policy 2002, ELF, that is the elimination of lymphatic filariasis by 2015 year, that is the national policy. Definition of elimination and lymphatic filariasis cases to be public health problem when the number of microfilaria cases less than 1% and the children born after initiation of ELF are free, and elimination of lymphatic filariasis are free from circulating antigenemia. Microfilaria cases less than 1%, but whereas antigenemia is nil. That is the antigenemia means presence of adult filaria worm in the human body. So there is no adult worm in the human body, but it should be less than, maybe less than 1% of microfilaria cases, number of microfilaria cases. That is the definition of elimination. Coming to the filaria control strategies, larval operations, source reduction, detection and treatment of microfilaria carriers, morbidity management, IEC. Implementation of NFCP in endemic urban towns, filaria control units, filaria clinics, survey units. So this is the implementation through these units and clinics and units. Then for rural areas, primary healthcare system, anti-filaria medicines, morbidity management services. So one is for the town, another is for rural. The strategy for lymphatic filariasis elimination by annual mass drug administration, home-based management, DEC single dose, and also DEC along with albendazole. So coming to the annual mass drug administration of single dose of anti-filarial drug for 5 years or to increase to the eligible population except pregnant women and less than 2 years and sick people. These are excluded to interrupt the transmission of the disease. So that is the mass drug administration of single dose. And HBM, home-based management of filariasis, lymphedema cases, and upscaling of hydrocele cases, lymphedema and hydrocele cases in identified community health centers and district hospital and medical colleges. And DEC, single dose drug, 2004 year, GO, Government of India, the Mass Drug Administration as the home-based food care and also hydrocele operation. So food care is also important. Hydrocele operation is also important along with this. DEC with ivermectin. So this is the anti-larva. Albendazole also. As a single dose together, DEC plus albendazole also as a single dose can be given. All the lymphatic filariasis, 250 endemic districts are there. And mass drug administration covered in 2004 72%, 2014 it is 86%. DEC kills microfilaria. So that is the action of the diethyl carbamazepine. It kills microfilaria, some adult worms, and late phase by chemotherapy like albendazole. By chemotherapy also, it can be killed, albendazole. This is usually antiparasite. And also antibiotics. Antibiotics also you can use, and also antiparasites. Then first transmission assessment survey for the, and also completed in 221 million population, and to observe 20 more districts. Door-to-door survey is there for the listing of lymphedema and hydrocele filaria endemic districts. So one is first transmission assessment survey that was done in 2017 for the evaluation units, and also 2004 door-to-door survey, 2014 lymphedema, 8.7 lakh cases, together with the hydrocele and also cases. Total cases are 12.5. So not 125, it's 12.5 lakh cases. Then initiations, simple washing of food to maintain hygiene to prevent secondary bacterial and fungal infection in chronic lymphedema cases. Microfilaria survey is also there. In all implementation units is being done through MBS, night blood survey, from 8 p.m. onwards to up to 4. Before MDA survey is done in 4 sentinel and 4 random sites. Collecting total 4,000 sites, 50 from each site, 4 sentinel sites, 4,000. 4 random sites also. So total 8. Reduction in microfilaria in the MDA districts. Coverage of population persistently for 5 to 6 years should be more than 80% and reduce microfilaria load in the community. So the coverage should be for 80% for the persistently 5 to 6 years, and also interrupt the transmission of disease by reducing the microfilaria load. Kala Azar, coming to the Kala Azar, it is endemic in 13 districts and especially Jharkhand and West Bengal, UP also. Kala Azar control program reduced the cases from 77,000 to 5,000 odd, and the stage of Kala Azar elimination, KEP, enhanced the case detection in complete treatment. RK39, that is the rapid diagnostic kit test, and miltefosine. So miltefosine is a drug for the Kala Azar treatment. That is the oral drug. Pyrethroid fogging in place of DDT removes sandfly vector. So to kill the vectors like sandflies for the Kala Azar, pyrethroid will be used as a fogging. And prevention and control by repellents are indoor residual spray. Communication, behavioral communication, BCC, and also capacity building and monitoring, survey, supervision and evaluation, prevention and control of guidelines are there, research guidelines on prevention and control of Kala Azar, and also active case search by quarterly case search, so quarterly, not annually, and the ACS is the uh, active case search during a fortnight, Kala-Azar fortnight. This is called as Kala-Azar fortnight active case search, and health worker door-to-door search and refer the cases conforming to the case definition, Kala-Azar, and also PKDL, post Kala-Azar dermal leishmaniasis. So to the treatment centers for diagnosis and treatment. Incentives will be given to the ASHAs and also the patients also. And also total eradication of Kala-Azar in 2014, revised strategy, rapid diagnostic kit, is ICMR plus single dose treatment with liposomal amphotericin B, IV, 10 mg per kg, World Health Organization, as per. To reduce the human reservoir of infection, treat by antimonials like sodium stipugluconate, that is pentostram, and meglumine antimonate, that is the glucantine. So pentostram and also glucantine are the antimonials. Coming to Japanese encephalitis. This is disease with high mortality rate. Disease with high mortality rate, survive with neurological complications. The strategies for prevention and control, strengthening of surveillance activities through sentinel sites in tertiary healthcare, early diagnosis and proper treatment and case management, IVC measures, personal protection and use of larvivorous fishes, integrated vector control, and capacity building measures, BCC, training and social mobilization by government, malathion outdoor fogging. So here fogging is malathion, whereas for the Kala-Azar is pyrethrine. So Japanese encephalitis in the Andhra Pradesh, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, and also Kerala, Karnataka, Bihar, Maharashtra, Manipal, and also Haryana and UP. So many of these states are involved. Vectors are outdoor resters, not indoor resters. That's why there is no indoor spray, no specific cure. So early case management, no CNS complications and health and death. So if early case management is there, no CNS complication because there is no specific cure. JE vaccination, Japanese encephalitis, children from 1 to 15 years of age group is there. And health education, media, interpersonal communication for the community. Keep pigs away from human dwellings, dusk to dawn, biting time of mosquitoes. Use of full sleeves, cloths and bed nets. IEC regarding signs and symptoms, transmission of disease, and for early diagnosis to refer to healthcare facility. Epidemiological monitoring of the disease for effective implementation of prevention and control measures. No cure. Mosquito-borne virus like flavivirus, and this is simple yellow fever, dengue fever, and West Nile fever. Coming to the dengue fever, dengue hemorrhagic fever, which is very severe. Outbreak of dengue reported in 1956 in Delhi. Guideline of preparation of contingency plan, GPCP. In case of outbreak, epidemic of dengue hemorrhagic fever, diagnosis by RT-PCR or dengue non-structural protein 1, NSP1 antigen. It will be identified at the day 1 itself by RT-PCR. It's because of the replication of the dengue by detecting through viral genomic sequences and immunoassay respectively. Immunoassay usually by IgM by 6th to 10th day. Dengue fever and dengue hemorrhagic fever, important aspects of GPCP guidelines. Identification of outbreak with signs and symptoms, vectors, spread of disease, surveillance, and others. Demarcation of affected areas. And also for these areas, spraying is necessary, treatment, follow-up, healthcare services, availability, alert the hospitals for management of outbreak, And containment of outbreak, you have to stop the outbreak. Case management, treat the case to avoid complication, not mortality, especially early case finding and also disease starting, treatment starting. Vector control, Aedes aegypti mosquito. So dengue fever is by Aedes aegypti vector, so that should be controlled. You know, Aedes aegypti of the old tiles and other areas, the source of bleeding will be there. IEC activities, do's and don'ts for prevention of dengue, and monitoring and reporting should be done. In the endemic states, Government of India with states identified 521 sentinel surveillance hospitals with labs for diagnosis. For advanced diagnosis and backup facilities, 14 Apex referral labs and linked with sentinel surveillance hospitals with IgM capture after 5th day of infection. ELISA test kits. Kits also will be available by NIB, National Institute of Virology, Pune. For early diagnosis, ELISA-based National Surveillance Institute kits can detect the cases from the first day. So IgM capture, the NIV 5th day, NSI kits from the first day of infection, it can detect IgM. Dengue hemorrhagic fever, prevention control measures for dengue by GOI, monitoring the state health authorities, and a midterm plan for prevention and control. Main components of midterm plan for prevention and control of dengue fever are surveillance, case management, vector management. Surveillance is disease and entomological. Case management for lab diagnosis and clinical management. Vector management is environmental management for source reduction, chemical control, and private-public partnership and legislation. And other things are outbreak response, epidemic preparedness, media management, capacity building, training, strengthening human resources and operational research, and BCC, social mobilization in the IEC. Intersectoral coordination with ministries of urban development, rural development, Panchayat Raj, surface, transport, and education sectors. So intersectoral. Monitoring the supervision, analysis of reports and reviews, field visits and feedback. And coming to the chikungunya fever, it is a debilitating, non-fatal viral illness. So it's non-fatal. Remember, but it is a re-emerging disease after 3 decades. Government of India continuously monitoring proactive surveillance and diagnostics. Guidelines for prevention and control of the disease have been prepared. Strategies of vector control are same for dengue and chikungunya. So that is the dengue, you know that vector for the dengue and chikungunya. It's aegypti. Same vector involved in the transmission. Logistics and funds support from center. And sentinel surveillance hospitals are 521 in the affected states to carry out the tests. Diagnostic is provided by NIV. Diagnosis by blood test for rural, for viral RNA or antibody. Blood test for viral and RNA or antibody. Serological tests for ELISA, IgM, and IgG at 3 to 5 weeks of illness, up to 2 months. So it starts to appearing after 5 weeks and up to 2 months only. IgM and IgG. It is by ELISA kits. Anti-chikungunya antibodies also you can. These are the anti-chikungunya antibodies you can observe. IgM, IgG. But whereas viral RNA by RT-PCR. Only acetaminophen or paracetamol drug should be used, not NSAID or aspirin. These two are contraindicated. Non-steroid anti-inflammatory drugs are contraindicated. Platelet count is with the chikungunya, and it is never less than 200 multiplied by 10 to the power of 9 per liter. And if it is dengue fever, it will come below 100 multiplied by 10 to the power of 9 per liter. So that is the, so platelet will be too much low in case of dengue fever, whereas it is not that much low in chikungunya fever. By Aedes aegypti mosquito, there is no cure. That's why you have to control the Aedes aegypti. The vector-borne disease, it cannot be controlled, it cannot be cured, but you have to control the Aedes aegypti. Mosquito control and avoid bites. So you control the Aedes aegypti mosquito bites and also Aedes aegypti mosquito control. So thank you very much. I think next class we'll share with some other communicable diseases. It is already 12 o'clock. Good day to you. See you next week. Thank you. Hello. Ma. Any doubts you have?